Welcome back to Lord Roustabout's Celestial Forge. When we left off, our MC had just finished his morning run after revealing his bookshop to us and his powers in the last chapter. As I left the boardwalk and was heading back through the docks to my apartment, I considered how to spend the day. I didn't have enough of a handle on where my power was going to try and plan out anything meaningful about my hero activity until it settled down enough for me to have a vague theme to work with. Anything I planned would be total speculation. I wasn't dumb enough to try cape work with my current power set, so that left training and conditioning, since that was likely to pay off regardless of what I got for my next power. I just arrived home when I felt the excitement build from my passenger. I quickly focused on the Celestial Forge and felt a constellation swinging. This time my urge was twice what it had been last night. I felt myself latch onto a mote of power. It was from one of the smaller constellations, and a little less powerful than the mote that I had missed on my previous attempt. As my connection solidified, I felt the knowledge of the power and its constellation expand. This was not a tinker power. This was something better. This was a brute power that required tinker support. That constellation was called clothing. I didn't have a good sense of other powers within it, but this power was called fashion. Despite its name, it had nothing to do with clothing design, other than the fact that it would allow me to wear anything as my cape costume. That was because what it did was extend the defensive properties of the toughest protective item I had been wearing to both my clothing and body. I could wear a knee pad and have my entire body and every piece of clothing be as tough as the material it was made out of. It was absolutely incredible in terms of mobility, not to mention cost. I could put resources into a single piece of armor, just enough to cover a tiny fraction of my frame, and would get that level of durability for my entire body. I needed to test this out. Not because I doubted it. That was one thing I was sure of. Every power I would get was as reliable as my key had proven to be. I had complete faith in it would work precisely as described. The only limitation was the item needed to be designed for protection and had a lower size limit of the aforementioned knee pad. Aside of that caveat, it could be anything. All of my plans for the day done, I needed to work with this. I could head to a thrift store and see what I could find, but I had a full magic metal shop to work with and just enough technical knowledge to get started. I'm not a mastersmith by any means. As such, the product of my morning's labor in the workshop would not be winning any beauty, design, or craftsman contests. It consists of a steel wrist bracer that hinged and clasped around my left forearm. The whole affair had been involved some less than perfect shaping and welding, meaning that the seams were raised and lumpy, and the fit was uncomfortable. That was not important in the face of its effects. I had made the bracer out of the thickest, toughest steel I had in stock. Despite only covering half my forearm, it was noticeably heavy. I would have to replace it with something more ergonomic once I had a chance to refine things. The point was that now my entire body and everything I was wearing had the same level of resilience as the half-inch steel plate that made up the bracer. Alright, I can't breathe because my allergies are going bad, so I'm going to stop there, despite not being at my usual 6 minutes yet. The Omega episode will come out approximately a week after this one, which is next Thursday for you. But thank you for listening, if anyone's even been listening.